What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Ah! Mountains!
All you ever left is the light inside.
Fight! My name is Frankenstein!
Batman's got Mars!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. That's weird.
This mess.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror.
What's up, all you horror movie loving fuckers? Welcome back to another episode of the Fright Flick FMK podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jay, but this week, family, we got something special. We got something special for you. As you can see, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel like you should be, we got us a guest this week. I'm super stoked, super fucking happy. When I reached out to him, I was kind of like, I don't know if he will. I'm just going to shoot my shot. And my man said yes, and he's here tonight, and he's here for this episode. I want everybody to give a fucking Fright Flick welcome to the Chris Grega. Hey, brother, welcome to the shit show.
How's it going, man?
Hey, I'm good. I'm super excited to have you on here. Once again, I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come on here. Family, you all should know this right now. I fucking love independent horror, independent directors, artists. I love it. And so I came across Chris when I broke down and watched a movie called Red Night at Skies. And what got me on Red Night at Skies was I'm a big fan of Jackie Kelly, and that's what got me on it. But when I seen Red Night at Skies, what that did is it made me start looking into some shit. Like, I'm like, well, who the hell is this Chris? Who's this Chris guy? Who's Rock Roberts? And that's how I came across your company, 88 millimeter films, and then it just started making me kind of like, and then bam, y'all got a fucking podcast over there.
Yeah.
Y'all see it in the background right now, family. So what I want, Chris, I want you to introduce yourself to the family. Like I said, around here, there ain't no rules. We just pull us up a chair, have us a drink, shoot the shit. And I want everybody to get to kind of know you, what you're about, and we're going to flow. We're going to see what happens from here.
Okay. Well, Jay, thanks for having me on, man. My name's Chris Grega. My film company's 88 millimeter Productions, 88 millimeter Films. I've been doing this for, man, let me think. This year gonna be 27 years.
Oh, wow.
Since 1999. Yeah.
Damn.
So it'll be 27 years in September, man.
Wow.
So I've been doing it for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
With very, very minuscule success, I'll tell you, man. But you gotta do this because you love it, right?
Yeah.
That's absolutely why. Or you're just too stupid to quit. And I think I'm a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Indie film has brain damaged me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
it's damaged every aspect of my life. My pocketbook, my first marriage, friendships, relationships, man, it's run them all into the ground. Or hell, maybe it's just me who's done that. I don't know. But no, I've been at it for a while. And yeah, our last film, as you saw, is Red Night at Skies, which is a action horror, kind of drama a little bit too film that we shot that in 2021, just released it last year, I think, through Lionheart Distribution. and that's a little outfit out of Los Angeles, run by Jerome Kershon.
Mm.
He's really a good dude. And brother, if you knew me and my history with distributors and distribution companies, it you would be surprised. I would say that about any distributor, but I think Jerome he's the real deal, man. He's not a thief, he's not a crook. He is a responsible and a responsive distributor, and that's key. A responsive distributor. Like you email him, he will get back to you.
Yeah. And
Right?
that's one of the things, like, because when you said that, when you made the comment, like, this guy's like legit type thing, but because I listened, family, if you do not listen to the Indie Film Sucks podcast, you should be listening to it. If you like if you like the independents and you like movie interviews and stuff like that, go fucking listen to them. And that's where I started listening to you guys when I found out about you. I went all the way back to episode 1.
Nice.
I started listening all the way through. And that's one of the things I remember you talking about was dealing with distributors and some of the fucking horror stories that you talked about.
Yes.
And so hearing you say like you've had some good luck with this one, that's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, we ain't made any money at this point, but I don't think we're getting screwed either. So
Mhm.
that's a distinction. But yeah, I've been at it since 1999, man. I fell into filmmaking sort of almost by accident, really.
Mhm.
Because if you know Eric Stanzi of Wicked Pixel Cinema, I went to high school with Stanzi.
Oh wow.
We were in the same grade, although we didn't know each other. I don't think we had a single conversation.
Hmm.
But this was back in the '90s, back in the olden days.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah,
I'm that Gen X baby. We know.
yeah. Got that
Hell
gray
yeah.
beard. Got that
Yes,
gray
sir.
beard going.
Hey, there's a whole lot. If I didn't shave it, you'd see a whole lot more gray up here.
Yeah. I like to say it's light blonde. It's so light that it's white. But yeah, so I went to high school with Stanzi, but I was not a filmmaker when I was in high school. I was just I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life at all. And hell, I didn't even graduate high school. I dropped out.
Mhm.
I dropped out after my my 5th year. That shows you anything about my academic abilities. But one of my really good friends, Tom Biondo, he was a filmmaker. He was a couple years younger, but we were pretty tight. He was one of my very best friends in the world. And he used to work on horror films with Stanzi because Stanzi's a big horror guy.
Oh yeah.
And Tom used to make films with Stanzi, and he always tried to get me involved doing that. Like, hey, Chris, you need to come out and work with Eric. Eric's a real filmmaker.
Yeah.
And the only thing I did at that point, we're talking, early mid '90s. When I was in my early 20s, used to make little camcorder movies. Me and Tom would grab a camcorder and we just go out in the woods and we'd make whatever dumbass movies we came up with. It was like Indiana Jones
Yeah.
and kung fu movies, and like we did a Star Wars movie, and we did a couple of horror movies, but not even like no script, no nothing,
Mhm.
right? Just grabbing a camera, no editing, and just making these real shitbag movies. But Tom always tried to get me to work with Eric because Eric was very serious. I don't know, you've met Stanzi, right?
Not. I want to.
Okay,
We've messaged through like social media because I'm a big fan. I got all of his movies, But yeah, he's one I want to meet.
well, Eric is a very serious guy. Has a very low register voice.
Oh yeah.
He's very, very serious. Eric's a very serious man. And I was like, man, I don't want to mess around with all that. But Tom convinced me. He had this idea. He wanted to make this sort of 3-part horror anthology. He's like, I'm gonna have you act in the first part, you and Eric. It's like you're gonna be this Vietnam veteran guy, and Eric's gonna be this ghost. And I was like, all right, whatever, fuck it. And this was like 1996, and I was, I don't know, somewhere in my 20s. and I had real long hair at the time. And so we made this short film, and it was called Survive. And I was like this veteran guy, and I was homeless, and Stanzi was this ghost from my past, and it was like a 2 or 3 day shoot, and it was like kind of a legit sort of short film.
Mm-hmm.
And after we were done, and I've seen it, it turned out pretty good actually. After we were done, Tom was like, "Man, is this what you want to do now? I mean, do you have the bug?" And I was like, "No."
No.
And it's like, there's a lot of work, and it was cold, and it was long. I mean, it was cool, but no, I don't want to make like real movies. So he's like, okay. And he, still kind of kept after me. And a couple years later, he was making this 16 millimeter film in on my parents' property out in Imperial, Missouri. In the woods, because we lived on like seven acres of woods, and him and this film student guy from Webster University in St. Louis, it's film school, and they were working on this short film, and I didn't do anything other than help them out with locations. So it was either Super 16 or it was 8 millimeter, but it was an actual film, and it had the worst title I'd ever heard. It was called The Husband, the Wife, the Killer, and the Mourner. And I thought, man, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
But anyway, they only shot part of it, didn't finish it. And then Tom got this job up in like Wisconsin, I think it was, working at a summer camp. He was a camp counselor. And he decided he wanted to make a documentary of his whole experience.
Okay.
And at this time, I was living in the city of St. Louis, where I currently still live, but not at the basement on Broadway.
Oh yeah,
that's a newer development. But anyway, yeah, Tom was working on this this documentary of his experience as a camp counselor, and they're out. He was out shooting all day, and they were out driving. He was being pulled by a truck on a trailer. So the truck stopped, and he went to jump off. And when he jumped off, he tripped, but he was holding the camera. So he cradled the camera to his chest. And when he fell, he hit his head on the curb. And well, he was brain dead.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And he passed away. Like 2 days later, they took him off life support. And this was 1999 when this happened. And yeah, so he was 26 years old at the time, and I was 27. And that obviously affected me.
Oh yeah.
Greatly. And I decided after the funeral, because everyone's talking about like, oh, we should do this and we should do that, and I'm thinking, man, none of these people are going to do anything. It's all just talk. It's just what you say at a funeral.
Yeah.
And I just decided right then and there, I'm going to become a filmmaker. And I started working on my first short film, and a month later we went into production, and I really haven't stopped since. And that was going to be 27 years ago.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I remember I talked to Eric before I started. I said, "What can I get your advice?" And met up at this bar restaurant place.
Let me guess though. I bet Eric was serious as hell with you.
He was serious.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes. Because at that time, Eric he'd been making movies for like a good 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Since he was a teenager, right? Because he came from Pittsburgh, I think, and he moved to St. Louis. So he had like started doing stuff like back then. So he was like, all right, yep, Greg, I'll meet with you, but I'm going to tell you right up front, I'm only going to help you out if you're serious. If you're serious, I'll help you do this. And he said something that stuck with me for all these years, and it's absolutely true. He said, for every 100 people who talk about making a film, one person starts.
Mm-hmm.
And for every 100 people who start a film, one person finishes.
Mm.
You need to be one of those finishers. I was like, okay, Eric. And yeah, that really stuck with me because it's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we made our first short film. It was called Frank Wang the Vengeance.
I'd
It
watch
was
that just because of the title. Because
it,
of...
it's not the worst thing in the world. It's this
No.
kung fu action movie, made with, a bunch of my friends, and most of them knew Tom, and it was dedicated to Tom, and it turned out okay, and that is what got me going on filmmaking.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome, because up until that time, like I said, I had quit school, and I got my GED, then I went to college, and I was like, man, I fucking hate school, so I quit college, and I'm just working this factory job, and I've had many of those, and I was just trying to think, what am I supposed to do with my life? I have no idea, because I'd always been a creative kid. I mean, I used to write little stories. I used to I used to call them movie tapes.
Mhm.
It was a tape recorder, and we would record like radio plays.
Okay.
And I was doing that when I was like 10 years old. I'd make like these sort of Indiana Jones, except it wasn't Indiana Jones. It was like Jake the Adventurer
Mm-hmm.
adventure stories. And I used to do that, and I had dreams of being a writer, but again, I didn't know how to manifest any of that stuff. So I was just trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do with my life? Here I am getting in my late 20s. I don't really have any path or goal or anything. And then when this happened, it's like, bam, everything came together. It's like, oh, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I just, threw myself into that, not knowing a damn thing about filmmaking.
So did you go to, was your college for filmmaking, or was it just?
No, I had kind of vague idea about going for like a history degree, because I've always been a fan of history. Like, maybe I can be a history teacher or something like that. I had no idea. I didn't understand how any of that shit worked. I just knew that up until that point, I had hated every aspect of school that I was involved with. I hated kindergarten. I hated elementary school. I
Yep.
hated middle school. I hated high school. And I didn't want any part of college.
Yep.
I mean, I have subsequently went back and I got my degree when I was in my 40s, a mass communications degree. I was like, oh shit, this was easy. Why didn't I do this 20 years ago? I'm an idiot.
At least
But
you did it. I did. I
yeah,
just spent 20 years in the army where they paid for it. And I still, because I hated school so much, like I barely got through high school. Like I
yeah,
struggled. And so college to me was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. And so I did 20 years in the military. To this day, I'm 49 and I still don't have a college degree. I'm never going to have a college degree. But yeah, at least you went back and did it.
yeah.
I'm still in my brain. I'm like, I can't do school no more. No.
I mean, that's where I was at. I mean, when I turned 40, I'm like, man, all I have is a bartending certificate
Oh,
and a
I had one of those too. I had one in the state of North Carolina because that's where I was. I'm from South Carolina. And in North Carolina, I went to bartending school and I could bartend in the state of North Carolina.
nice, nice. I had a bartending certificate. I had a reverend's license from the Universal Life Church, and
Nice.
I wanted to get my bounty hunter license, but that was $90, so I didn't do it. But I was like, then I can be a bartending, bounty hunting reverend,
That's no unheard of.
right?
They would make movies about you.
I know, I know. So I mean, it's not too late. I could get the bounty hunter license still, and I could live that dream.
Still
But
time.
still time. But yeah, so didn't know jack shit about filmmaking, threw myself into it completely. And, we made 3 shorts, and then we made our first feature. This was in 2001, called Amphetamine, which is like a neo-noir Tarantino-esque crime movie. And for what it is, it's not terrible,
Mm.
but I wouldn't qualify it as a good film.
Mm.
You know,
I'm going to try to see if I can track that down somewhere.
oh, I can send you a link, man. We're thinking about throwing it up on YouTube.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm
You know, and it's again, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it sure ain't the best. But I thought at that time, oh, I've made 3 short films. I know enough to make a feature film.
Mhm.
And man, I didn't. I, I absolutely did not, but whatever. It was exciting. And I gotta tell you, because for at that time, so this is what, 25, 26 years ago, people were not making like independent feature films in the St. Louis area. Like there was
Mhm.
a handful of people that did. Like Stanzi was one. He was making, like Ice from the Sun and Savage Harvest and stuff like that. But this was not a horror film. This was like a kind of a action whatever film.
Mhm.
Because at that time I was like everyone else watching Pulp Fiction
Oh
and
yeah.
Reservoir Dogs, and and
Yeah.
everyone tried to replicate that,
Yeah.
and nobody was really successful. I sure as hell wasn't. But at the time, for the auditions we had, because I had assembled through the course of making those short films a decent team of people at that time. So we had like, I don't know, 200 plus people turn up for the audition because
Oh
it was like
wow.
at that time it was a big deal, independent feature film casting in St. Louis. And I mean, there wasn't any pay because it was so low budget. I think the whole thing cost like 10,000, but
Mm.
half of that was spent on buying the Mac to edit it with. So it was like a $5,000 movie.
Hell yeah. Especially back
And
then, the Mac, good Lord, that's like buying a fucking house now.
yeah,
Back then.
exactly. So when we and it was a pretty big film. There's like, I don't know, probably 15, 20 speaking roles in it. And we had all these extras because we shot in all these bars, like the bars I was going to at that time. So we did all these bar scenes and we had them packed full of people, and you had like this big shootout at the end in this abandoned cement factory. So I mean, there was some cool stuff in it. So when we had the local premiere, it had there's an organization in St. Louis that was brand new at the time. Well, Cinema St. Louis was the organization, but they had this sort of brand new thing called the Filmmaker Showcase, where they had like a festival for local films. And the artistic director approached me like, "Hey, would you like to premiere Amphetamine at the showcase?" And I was like, I don't know, man. We're kind of thinking about doing our own thing. And you know, the St. Louis film community at that time was very unwelcoming.
Mm.
25 something years ago. It's like if you didn't shoot on film, and we sure as shit didn't shoot on film, it was mini DV all the way.
Yeah.
There were people who said, "Well, you're not a real filmmaker," and it was very much divided between like the independents and the professionals, and there was not a lot of crossover. And Stanzi told me years ago, he said, "Grega, the St. Louis film community will do nothing for you." And he still believes that to this day. And I don't 100% believe him, but he was more right than wrong.
Mm.
And he's always done his own thing and not given a damn about the local festivals, the local support, because he doesn't need it. His support reaches far beyond St. Louis. But anyways, I agreed to do the screening, and we had this local sort of movie palace called the Tivoli Theater, which is this really cool theater. Well, it like double sold out the Tivoli, so we moved it to this other venue called the Pageant, which was like a brand new music event venue, which held like, I don't know, 2,000 people or something like that. And they had to have it there because we had such a huge turnout. It's like somewhere between 900 people for my
Wow.
first feature film premiere. And it was like the talk of the town. And I was like, shit.
You have arrived.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
there.
like, this is what it's like. I've made
Yeah.
it. and it was an awesome night.
Yeah, I bet
Great
so.
premiere.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, shit, next stop Hollywood, I guess.
Yeah.
This is how it's going to be. And,
slide over, Tarantino. Slide over.
Right? And I thought, man, festivals are going to be lining up for this movie, and I'm going to have all these offers. And man, it was rejected everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Everywhere outside of St. Louis. I mean, it because we sent it to, Sundance and Toronto and every festival we could think of, and it was a nope, 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 nope. And I was like, fuck. Okay. I I thought here I am killing it. And no, not even close.
That's where I guess you hit that moment where you realize that you do it because you love it. Because there's a lot of people that would take that kick in the nuts and be like, I'm taking my ball and going home. I'm not doing this,
No, not me. I got mad. I'm like, all right, well, if they don't like that, then they're gonna like this. And so I started working on this follow-up film, which was another sort of crime movie. It was called Shuffle. And it was about unlicensed boxing and shuffleboard, as in the bar game shuffleboard. I don't know if you ever played that.
No.
It's not like with the sticks. It's it's kind of like pool, but it's on a long table, and you like.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen that. Okay.
Yeah, I used to play the hell out of that. I used to be really good at it. And there was a local bar that, of course, we shot in. They had a shuffleboard table, so we had a shuffleboard scene in amphetamine that the sort of hitmen, this is their local bar.
Yeah.
So we're going to make a movie that combines shuffleboard and boxing. Yeah, right?
I'm all for it.
Yeah, so we shot this investor teaser for it, and the teaser, it turned out pretty good. It looks like a not too bad movie. And I kept working on the script, and it just really wasn't coming together. But I was like, well, fuck it, we're going to do it anyways. But I need like a real budget. I need like $50,000 to make this or some shit. So this was around the time that Stanzi made Deadwood Park.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen Deadwood Park.
I haven't, but I haven't watched that one yet.
All right, that's a good one. Yep. It's well, I won't spoil it for you, but there's a flashback sequence that has a World War II bit in it.
Okay.
And so since he knew I was a history guy, he said, do you want to work on the film? I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, well, can you be our World War II consultant? Okay, well, what do you need? Well, here's like $500. Go to an Army surplus store and buy up as much World War II shit as you can find. So I'm like, aye, aye, Captain.
Yeah.
So I bought $500 worth of World War II shit from a couple Army surplus stores. And, back at that time, which was like 2004, you could buy a fair amount of shit.
Yeah.
So I got, helmets and, some overcoats and uniforms and like, web belts and canteens. And I had a fair amount of World War II shit. And then on my own, I went and I bought an M1 Garand, which was the main battle rifle of the American forces. So I bought one of those, just for my own personal to have it. So I had like a real legit World War II rifle and all this shit. And we shot this World War II sequence. And it's like, I acted in that. And man, I'm not an actor, but I played a medic. And we shoot this scene where we're like running through this field that's being shelled. And the guy who did the pyrotechnics is like this fucking unlicensed fucking psychopath who's like making these fucking charges in the ground that it's like, who knows what the fuck's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
So we're like running through this field of like explosions, and I mean these are big explosions. Like shit is like bouncing off my fucking helmet, and everyone, they don't act terrified. Everyone is terrified.
Really is, yeah.
I mean, it's fucking wild, man. And I mean, they're loud, and the ground is shaking, and we don't know what the hell's gonna happen. But it looked cool. It turned out good. But as payment for working on that film, Costanzi, again, like most independents, we're working with almost no money. So he's like, do you just want to keep all that World War II stuff for payment? I'm like, fuck yeah, man, I'll keep that shit. So I had all this World War II stuff in my basement, and we made that shuffle investor teaser. But I'm thinking, man, how are we going to raise the money to make this movie? Because it needs like all these other elements, and we need to have like all this boxing stuff and shuffleboard stuff and blah blah blah. So we while that was going on, this is now like 2005. There's this competition called the 48-hour film project. You ever heard of that?
No.
So that's and it still goes on today. It's like a international competition. I guess they do them all around the world.
Well, I say I've never heard of it until y'all's show. I did hear about y'all talked about it on y'all's show.
Okay.
That's where I kind of knew. And so when you said the 48 hours, I kind of know, because listen to the show. But some of my family out there, some of my Fright Flick family, y'all ain't listened to the show yet. That's why he's going to explain it to you. So y'all need to get your asses over there and listen to the show, family. Okay, my bad.
That's okay. It's all good. So it's essentially it's a competition where you have a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, to make a complete short film. And you are randomly given a genre. Could be anything. Could be horror, could be comedy, could be romance, could be musical, could be some other bullshit they come up with, could be drama, could be historical film. It's a whole bunch of choices. And then everyone is given a prop, a character, and a line of dialogue that has to be used in the movie. And everything that happens in this film, it has to be done over the course of this weekend. So we had done one the year before. We did a zombie one, and this year we got like fantasy or science fiction that we drew for our category. And this was the first year they had a wild card where you didn't know what you got. So me and the rest of the team are like, well, fuck, we don't want to do a fucking fantasy film. Let's do wild card, see what we get. And we got foreign film. So like, wow, foreign film, that's even harder. So wait a minute. We got all this World War II shit.
Yeah.
I know a guy that speaks German. Someone else knew a girl that spoke French. So, well, let's make a World War II movie. So we did. And it's in French and German and also English. And it all takes place at this one location, because we had this warehouse that had like this whole outside area, then all these different areas inside the warehouse that looked different. So we shot this thing where we had like, I don't know, 60 something people. We had like, French and Americans and Germans, and it turned out really good. So
on those like 48-hour things, you said you had that many people. In my brain, I'm thinking there's like 8 or 9 or 10 of you, and they're just be like, go make a movie. Is it like a big group?
That's what some people do.
Oh, okay.
Some people, it's like one person, but for us, we had, because at the time, this is the early 2000s, 88 millimeter was also friends with this small black box theater troupe called the Tin Ceiling. So everyone sort of worked on each other's projects. Like we would help with the play stuff. They would help with the film stuff. And it was like this big, cool group community of people who was just doing all this creative shit.
Okay.
And, when you're young, you can have that. Once you get older, that kind of goes away for the most part. But anyway, so we made this World War II short film. And of course, the judges thought we cheated. There's no way they could have done this in 48 hours. They had to have pre-planned everything out. So
how do you pre-plan a wild card?
Yeah, exactly. No, there's no way to do it. So, we didn't win, and everyone was kind of brokenhearted about that. But this gave me the idea, because, we're going to make this shuffle movie, this boxing movie, this, action crime thing. But I thought, you know what? Before we do shuffle, I have all this World War II stuff. We just made this incredible short in only a weekend. If we can do that, then we can make a World War II feature film.
Yeah.
That should be easy, right? Because all we got to do is go out in the woods. You know, the woods are free, and I got all this World War II shit, and I kind of know some reenactors. I have some connections there. So I'll just whip up this real fast script and we'll make Rhineland. We'll just bust this movie out in like a couple of months, and then we'll use whatever momentum we have behind that to go into shuffle. That was the thinking at the time.
Yeah.
And of course, none of that shit worked out because Rhineland took 3 fucking years of my life to make.
Oh, wow.
It was the winter because we shot in the winter, of course. It was 05, 06, 06, 07, 07, 08.
Wow.
Yeah. Because we just kept going back and going back and going back. And that took over my life for 3 years. And Stanzi acted in it too, by the way.
See, that was one of my questions I did have, because listen here, family, if you're watching on YouTube, you see this. This came in the mail today. Rhineland on DVD. It came in the mail today. Like, I got this thing probably a couple hours before me and Chris got on here. As soon as I got it, I was like, hell yeah, I want to watch it, because I hit you up a few days ago about Rhineland and was trying to track down a copy of it, because I'm a huge war movie. I love war movies and stuff, military documentary type shit. I love it. And so when I heard y'all talking about this on y'all's show, I was like, it got my interest and I wanted to see it. So it finally came in. I got to watch it today. And one of the first, I'm sitting there watching it toward the beginning, and this sergeant comes in and he's talking. And as soon as I hear the voice, I'm like, holy shit, was that Stanzi? And so I kind of like backed it back up. I was like, holy shit, that is Stanzi, just because I heard the voice. And I was like, because it's so distinctive sounding whenever he fucking talks. It's like, you can pick it out.
And he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah, he was in it. I thought maybe it was just going to be like a quick little, like, okay, that was him in the beginning. Am I not going to see him again? Because I kept waiting on him to come back. I'm like, maybe it was just like a little in the beginning thing. But then he finally comes back later on. And I'm like, oh, there's Stanzi again. But it was funny when I started watching it, because I've been listening to y'all's show and stuff, and I watched the YouTube version of it, the video. And so as soon as it gets going, I'm like, oh shit, there's Mackie.
Yeah. There's Mackie. There's Brock.
There's Brock.
If you look real hard, you'll see my ass in there too.
Where?
Oh, hell man. I mean, I played one of the replacements at the end.
Oh,
I played a German in the battle. I played an American in the battle. I mean, I'm all over the damn place.
I was wondering if you were in it, and I kept trying to look, but then in my brain, I'm going, well, this is like 2000, early 2000s. Maybe I just won't recognize him. You know, I don't know, because I was trying to see, but I was like, I never really could pick you out in it. But I did get, like I said, Mackie and Brock, and of course Stanzi in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Who was the guy that played? And I know I interrupted you because I was, I just watched this today, and I told you we was going to chat about it when we got in here. But the guy who played the lieutenant, the main lieutenant, the one that lost it toward the end.
Oh, Travis Estes.
That dude was good.
Yeah.
That he played that, like, that he had that look of like he done been through some shit.
Yeah.
He done. He looked it so good. Like when he first showed up and he started talking, he kind of had like the bags under the eyes, and this dude looked like he has been through hell and back. And I was like, because it's not like today's lieutenants, because I just did 20 years in the Army, so I was with some older school lieutenants, and then the new shit they're turning out, and so it's funny because like that lieutenant, badass, that been through some shit. Compared to like today's lieutenants. But I was a big fan of him. He was probably like my favorite one in the movie, because that part was just perfect for him. Like he had the look, he had the little attitude about things, and and man, and since we're on Rhineland, we're going to, if you're okay, we're taking a little detour right now.
Oh, that's fine.
Huge fan of Rhineland. Huge fan.
Thank you.
I like I said, I dig military movies. I really dig the old, like, go back to like, World War I, II, those. I call them the badass generation. Those dudes were fucking badasses. And, you know, I love watching movies like that because when I'm watching it, it's easy for me to kind of be there. I can, if I could pick a time to go back to be in the military again, that's the time I would want to be in. That was just such a cool time. And I know it was shitty. You know, a lot of people die. I get it, but
Yeah.
those were some badass people back then. Those soldiers were just badasses. And I like the way with Rhineland, it kind of, because I'm watching and I'm listening to like how that brand new teenager just shows up, you know, just graduated high school probably. And it's like, bam, now you've got to go and you're dropping your asses over there in fucking Germany. And you've gone from like sucking on mama's titty not that long ago to now you're over here, you know, doing this shit. And I remembered like my first deployment, I joined late. I joined when I was 29. So I joined in 2005. And I joined in 2005. And 2 weeks after getting to my first duty station, we were deployed direct. And I remember being that new guy that just gets over there and was like, didn't know what and I was older. I was 29 or 30
Sure.
when we went over there. And so, but I'm there with, you know, 18, 19-year-olds, and even me being the older guy, you know, and I'm sitting around still the same way, kind of like shell shocked, like, you know, you're hearing incoming alarms going off, tanks firing off, bombs drop, and you're sitting there like, and so when I seen them, like when they showed up and you got these young kids and they're kind of like, they get dropped off and they're do like, is this it? Like, where the fuck are we supposed to go? And then it's like, you know, and I like that because I like watching it throughout the thing because I was wondering where it was going. I knew what was going on,
Sure.
but I was kind of like, what was the ending? You know, how was it going to come back around, put it all together type thing. And I liked it because I got to see one, just how fucked up war is.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen it, but like I said, then whole different generation. Just just how fast they got to grow up because our main dude toward the end, Sergeant Mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mayor in the beginning. I'm hating Mayor in the beginning. I want to slap the shit out of Mayor because I've seen that before where they get over there and they get that deer in the headlights look and don't know. And you're just wanting to have to, you know, you got to shake the shit out of them, you know, and see to see Mayor go through that. The part where you had Mayor when the gunfire kicked off and Mayor just lays on his back.
Yeah.
And he's just holding the rifle and he ain't doing shit. The shit's popping off and he's just laying there. And I'm sitting there going, I've seen it. I've seen it. And then it's like to kind of see that it made him grow up fast.
Yeah.
And he became like, you know, toward the end of it, like Sergeant Mayor. And I'm like, holy shit, I like the way that came back because we got to see, for me, who's been there and kind of done it in the military. It's the seeing the when you first come in, they always tell you that we got to tear you down and we're going to build you back up. And to see kind of Mayor hit that, Mayor came in and it was kind of like that part where he's laying on the ground, just holding the rifle. That's not that, like, you've given up. In that moment there, you're just like, fuck it. It's, you know, and then to see the way he, you know, toward the end, he's the one fucking holding the map. He's the one holding the compass.
Yeah.
He's the one making sure the LT got back, you know, and was taken care of. And, but yeah, this, man, Rhineland was so fucking good, man.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. And, you know,
I enjoyed it.
With your service, you understood that. Cause I never served, you know, there was a time that I was, flirting with joining the Marines when I was a young man, but, you know, I was young and wild and, you know, it would have made my life a lot better if I would have joined the military. I can tell you that, or I would have blown my foot off, one or the other, or died. But, you know, I just, was like, but man, those recruiters, they didn't leave me alone for years.
Oh, no, they'll try. with Rhineland though, because I've listened to when y'all talked about it on y'all show. This thing was done. We're supposed to be fighting the war over in Germany right now. Like in this
Yeah.
world, we're supposed this shit's popping off overseas in Germany, but y'all did all this in Missouri, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Missouri and a little bit in Illinois.
yeah. And that was another thing. Like you wouldn't have known because it was y'all did it very well to where it like the winter time it had that little them big open fields and shit like that. And that was and I wouldn't have known that if I had if listening to y'all talk about it on y'all's podcast. But that's the only reason I kind of knew that. But and then how the hell you get your hands on some of them vehicles?
The reenactors.
Oh, the reenactors. Okay.
Yeah. So we met we met some reenactors early on and got them involved as technical advisors, one for the German side, one for the American side. And I mean they made the movie work.
Mhm.
Because we had, half tracks and trucks and Jeeps and a tank and all sorts of stuff that we just really had to pay for like gas and ammunition.
Oh wow.
But yeah, we because we built this whole like trench and bunker emplacement on top of this hill out in St. Clair, Missouri. And we had, I think, because that's like the big centerpiece battle in the film, somewhere in the middle of the film, like all together, because it took us like 8 days to shoot. So a few hundred people attacking that hill.
Yeah.
Germans and Americans attacking and defending. And we had, pyrotechnician and explosions and all that stuff going on. So I mean, it was a hell of an undertaking, man. And what the budget for that film should have been for a low budget World War II film was probably $1 million, million and a half, something like that. What it actually was 35,000.
Oh wow. Holy shit.
And
wow.
And we never had at any point in time more than $5,000 in the budget.
Wow.
And at one time, we were down to like less than $500. And this was before crowdfunding.
Yeah.
So I had to like go and like beg for money to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
That's one of the cool things when I talk about independent movies and stuff on here is, I can when it comes to, on my show, when I watch horror movies and majority of the ones I'd like to talk about are independent films. And, when I get on here and I have to rate them and I'm just like, do I have to kill it? But, but I always say, I have a hard time. I feel there's a part of me that feels bad when I'm do certain independent movies and I'd be like, I kill it. I seen it. I never want to watch it again. There's a part of me that kind of like, because that's somebody's baby. That's somebody's like, they've put some time and effort into it on some. Now there's been some I've watched where it's like, they just rolled out of bed one day and said, I want to make this movie and I'm an independent artist now. And you can tell that they just put zero fucking effort into it. But yet when I've talked about movies on my show that are like big budget movies, like massive millions and millions of dollars. And one day I was watching one and my wife comes in and I'm finishing it up and she's like, so you're going to marry it? And I'm like, no. She said, and I said, because there's no way I'm going to marry a movie that's got $50 million backing it. Like, it's supposed to be a good fucking movie for $50 million.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to get badass looking blood and gore and kills and all this shit for that much. I'm supposed to get that. So for me to marry like a big budget, it's got to be something, but for me, the independent side is I want to see, like, y'all did $35,000 for a movie that I've just fucking enjoyed the hell out of it. And now, like you said, a regular type of bigger budget type movie like that would have been like millions of dollars and shit like that, And as soon as I started watching, I'm seeing all these like army jeeps rolling around and these tanks and shit. I'm like, wait, where the hell we get this stuff at? Because I knew going into it where it was filmed and stuff like that. But that was one of the questions I had was like, where the hell did like Chris just got some fucking jeeps and shit in his backyard?
I mean, not really, but kinda.
Yeah.
But yeah, and people who don't like the film generally unfavorably compare it to like Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers, and I've heard like it's like a high school movie with the tank. I mean, okay, buddy, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, yeah, I can't argue with you. It is the movie it is, but you can't stand there with the sign and say, hey, we had this set of circumstances to make this movie. So if you look at it through that lens, you're like, wow, that's pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, you can't do that. That's just, the facts of life. But
No.
I'm proud of what we accomplished
Yeah.
with that film. Would I redo things about it? Absolutely. Would I want to make that movie again? Hell no. I mean, it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
One of the things I liked when I was watching it, when the big scene was going down, where you talked about they're taking the hill, they got to get up there in them bunkers, they got to take the Germans out, and they're kind of pushing up the hill, and it was, and once again, where I go back to like that badass generation, where it's like they're up there, and they're like, look, you have to go over there, and you have to go up that hill, and the dude's like, it's fucking suicide. They knew their chances of coming back off that hill were slim to none. And so when they're having to push up there, but then I'm assuming, and I'm watching, and I like the way it was shot, because it was like having a camera guy documenting the whole thing, following along with them all. Like you see in some of the movies, they have like the journalists come along with them in these war movies. And that's kind of what it was like, when they're running up the hill, the cameras are kind of bouncing with them, and it's kind of all over the place going up the hill. And I like that, because it felt like, like this person was just holding the camera, shooting this documentary of like, look at all of what's going down. And I did like that. I like the fact that it was like bumpy, and it was kind of like you're having to haul your ass up the hill too. Whoever's holding the camera is having to put in the work.
Yeah.
Now, I enjoyed the way that was shot. And I did like, it was very realistic when it comes to especially I picked up on the mental side of it, to where you get to that point to where it's like, you're over it, man. Like you're done. And like the part where toward the end, where the one sergeant who began with a B, did his name begin?
Bowen.
Bowen. Yeah. When he finally gets to that point to where you can tell he's got that 1,000-mile stare in his eye. He's just kind of sitting there, and you're like, he's got to that point. He's done watched when Brock's character died off, when he died, that was like it. Like he had that was his friends, and he had hit that point. And then when he gets to that point where he's like pulls the gun on that one prisoner, the German, like he's at that point, like, fuck him. Like, why are we we're not taking a prisoner back so they can question him. No, he just killed. I want to kill him right now.
Yeah.
And I like that's one of the things I picked up on that I watched is that the mental side of it that goes into it. And then another thing in this thing that y'all did good, really good on, is there's a part where like the big boss man, the big, whatever his rank was, he was the big, either the general, the whoever he was over there.
Oh, the company commander, the captain.
And when he sits down and he asked that lieutenant, and he's kind of like, how you doing? And he's kind of like, oh, I'm good. And that's so spot on, because in the military, you get so beat into your head to like mission first, to where it's like that is your response, no matter what the fuck you're dealing with. Like, hey man, you all right? I'm good.
Yeah.
And there was a couple times in there where I seen that where they would ask, and and that he'd give that answer like, oh, I'm good. And then it's like he hit that wall, like when the lieutenant finally lost his shit. Earlier he was sitting there telling dude, I'm good, but then bam, when he finally hits that wall. And I really like that. I like that I could pick up on that mental side of it, the struggle that goes into it, and I really like that. So,
oh, cool.
Like I said, awesome movie. We've talked about Rhineland. I know you got a lot more that you've done, but I just wanted, because I just seen it today, I was excited to watch it. Fucking awesome. Y'all need to go watch it.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of deleted scenes on there, and there's the making of and all that stuff.
That's going to be my watch for tomorrow. I didn't have time to get to the special features, but that's going to be my tomorrow watch is the special. I love special features. That's why I like physical media is the best.
Yeah, we don't, I mean, I don't even have, I think I might have a copy of that around here somewhere because, man, that's another distributor horror story we went through with that. And we just found it illegally out on YouTube not too long ago. And I'm not talking about piracy, right? Because everybody's shit gets pirated.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bet you $10 million Red Night at Skies is on some pirate site right now, you know, making somebody 3 cents.
Yeah.
But this was essentially legal theft. So this was a third party company bought Rhineland from our distributor after the contract expired, and they were putting it out. And I found it just by me and my girlfriend were watching something and looking on YouTube, and somehow Rhineland popped up. And I was like, what the hell's Rhineland doing here? So we had to go through a whole bunch of bullshit to trace, okay, who has this? And then why do you have it out there? And so, you know, we had to get a lawyer involved.
Yeah.
You know, we had to spend like, I don't know, like $5,000 just to get this resolved. Just like, because they're like, oh, well, we purchased this film from so-and-so distributor. I'm like, yeah, but the contract ended. So the rights reverted back to us. So you bought it after it was no longer theirs to sell. So it was a whole ordeal. And we even tried to be cool with them. Like, you know what, man, why don't you just give us half of what you're bringing in and you can keep it out there? And they just ignored that shit.
Damn.
And I think that's pretty fucking fair, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you're ripping me off, but I'll let you keep half of what you're ripping me off for because it's too much of a pain in the ass to deal with it. And they're like, nah, we don't want to do that. So then we had to be like, all right, well, I guess we got to fucking sue you. Like, oh, well, and then we had to get him take it down. YouTube had to take it down. So I'm assuming it's still not available. But yeah, because I get people once in a while saying, hey, why don't you put out, you know, physical media for Rhineland? I was like, because, man, that's like $2,000-3,000 to make the Blu-rays or DVDs, and we're going to sell like 25 of them.
Yeah, because that's what when I hit you up the other day, I didn't know if y'all had been released. I didn't know if you had some laying around still. So when I hit you up, and you were just like, you know, and you hit me up like you had to hit like eBay, you know, and that's where I had to go, you know, and I don't like doing that because I like it more when I can buy it straight from whoever's made the movie or whoever's putting it out.
I would have been happy to give you one if I had one, but it's like, man, I don't even have one to give. That's pretty sad. That is a true filmmaker horror story right there. And I wish it was the only one, but sadly it's not. Because, after Rhineland, because I think that released in, I think we premiered it in 2007, but it came out like 2010, maybe.
This show's 2011.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah, about the same time.
So right about that time, I had this idea that I wanted to do a web series because at this point, well, no, I'm sorry, before that, because you've seen Game of the Year. So,
oh yes, I have that one also right here, family.
Yep,
Game of the Year.
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun.
Because you know I've been playing role playing games like D&D since I was 11. You know, I'm still a gamer. Been doing that shit for years and years.
So you actually were a gamer. I have never ever did any type of like role playing type game that they played in this. And so, but so you actually do that like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And Mackie, he used to be a big gamer. Brock, not so much.
Yeah.
Brock's like, nah, fuck that. But yeah, I've I run 2 weekly games, or I play in 2 weekly games. So you know, I've been doing this shit, you know, for 40 something years.
Don't that take a lot of patience though?
Not really.
I feel like because maybe it's because every little thing I've ever seen on it, when I watched, huge fan watching Stranger Things and they're playing it, and it seems like they're there down there for hours and hours and hours. And I'm like, does it always take 4 hours?
I mean, when you're a kid, then you play games for hours and hours and hours. As an adult, because I got two groups, one on Thursdays, one on Sundays, and Thursday night is from like 7 to 9:30, so it's a couple hours.
Okay.
And then Sunday night is like 6:30 to 10.
Okay.
And and probably out of that time, at least an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours is spent just bullshitting and eating food and whatever.
Okay.
But the whole I made Game of the Year for two reasons. One, after Rhineland, I was fucking fried. I was like, fuck. I mean, it was 3 years and 42 days of shooting over 3 years and doing this shit with no fucking money. And, my ex-wife, at the time we were married, she worked in a wardrobe department. And so we were fighting all the time about this movie. And, I get it. So it was just a huge amount of stress. So, like I said, I've been a gamer since I was a kid, and I have never seen a gaming movie that I didn't think was utter fucking bullshit. It's like all like, oh, nerds who live in their parents' basement and, oh, I've never kissed a girl. It's like, man, that ain't been my experience at all. It's like, I like gaming just as much as I like baseball, as much as I like hockey, as much as I like football. To me, it's a different version of the same shit, right? And like, I know people who are only into games and they like hate football. I'm like, how can you hate football? I mean, I hate the NFL because they fucked over St. Louis, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
And we ain't got a team anymore, but which is why I'm wearing my Detroit Lions hoodie, because fuck, I guess the Lions are my team because I like losers. But I had never seen a gaming movie that was real to how gaming and gamers are. Everything was like this sort of making fun of nerds playing this shit. I'm like, that ain't what it really is. It's just dudes just like me and women, men, women, whatever. That's just their hobby. So Game of the Year was sort of made in response to that, and the whole point was you don't have to be into that shit to enjoy that movie.
No, not at all. No. And that's one of the things, like, because I'm like you just said, when I would think of the gaming type stuff, it's like what we always see in other movies and everything else. It's like a bunch of fucking nerds that have never seen the girl, scared of girls, just sitting out in the basement, and that's what, and it instantly, it's like, they just kind of look down on all the time. It was kind of like, they just kind of looked at them like, look at fucking nerds just sit down in their damn mama's basement and don't do shit. I was one of those that's what I thought. And I kind of looked at it like, man, all these gamers, man, like, you must have no life. You can sit down there on a board game or whatever for 4 or 5 hours. Like, you have no life. That's how I looked at it.
Sure.
And then when I watched Game of the Year, and I was like, they make it seem fun. Yeah. It's like they they have their little bickering and all that, but it's like they, like you said, they down there, you could sit around, drink, shoot the shit, and and that's what it like you, that made what you just said, where somebody who knew nothing about role-playing games, I'm that guy. I know nothing. Yeah. But I really, really enjoyed the Game of the Year. So fucking good. So funny. Very funny.
Yeah, we're talking about a sequel right now, actually.
Oh, hell yeah.
Revisiting, those same guys like almost 20 years later.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool.
But I mean, to me, it ain't no different than spending all day Sunday watching football.
I'm guilty. That's me.
Because people say, how can you play games for 4 hours? Well, fuck, I just spent 8 hours watching 2 fucking football games. True. And it's to me, it's the same shit. I enjoy them both. So Game of the Year was kind of like a palate cleanser. It's like we just made this hard ass fucking stressful war movie So let's do something fun. And man, Game of the Year was a lot of fun to make.
That's what I was. That's one of the things I was going to say. It seemed like that would have just the whole process would have just been fun.
It was a blast. We shot in like 9 days, and at the end when they're at this convention, that's a real convention. And so I'm like, okay, we got one take to get this right. And no one else except for security knew what was going to happen. So when everything blows up, the whole crowd, it's like this whole giant convention center room full of people playing games. Everything goes deadly quiet because our guys are like fighting and carrying on, and they get thrown out by security. And they're like, shit, is this real? What the hell's going on? I mean,
so that was the real convention.
That was a real convention.
Oh shit! I thought that whole thing was just part of the movie.
No.
I thought like everybody in there knew what was going on.
No, nobody did except for security.
Oh shit! That's awesome.
I know the people who run it, so they let us shoot there and like, hey, here's what we're gonna do, and then when that happens, have your team come in and throw them out, and so that's what they did.
Okay.
And so that was a lot of fun to make, and that was because, man, the saddest thing about Rhineland was the fact that apart from locally, that got fucking rejected almost everywhere. Like every festival we sent it to, I sent it to the Military Film Festival, and it got fucking rejected.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was like, God damn, that was probably my lowest point. It got rejected from like the fucking Military Film Festival. Like, nah, we don't want it. I think it only played in one festival outside of St. Louis in Northern Ireland. They took it. They liked it. But yeah, so that was really low. But Game of the Year played in a bunch of places.
Damn.
So,
yeah, I could see why Game of the Year would be it's just a fun movie. Like it's fun. Like the whole time I'm watching it, it was just a good time all the way through. And then like all the characters, I liked all of them had their own little personality, and I did like that. Like I said, I messaged you shortly after I finished watching it, and the whole little like clip clop. That shit to me was just like, oh boy, there's a bear shit in the woods. Clip clop. That lives in my brain rent free right now. That one just pops in my brain every now and then.
And then of course those are all the same guys that were in Rhineland.
Really?
Yeah, Billy, that's Mayor.
Holy shit.
Clip Clop, Gary, that was Lieutenant Westman.
No, now I got to watch them both again now so I can pick them out. Holy shit.
And then of course, Mackie, he played the main dude in one of the main dudes in Game of the Year. So he was, obviously in Rhineland. And John, he played like the lieutenant or captain at the end. The one that got blown up, basically. No, not him. The guy who promoted mayor.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I was thinking the other lieutenant, the one that took him out there on that road.
Yeah,
he walks out there like an idiot.
Yep.
Hey, I got to watch them both now because I was like, man, I want to do it now because I have to see their faces now that you mentioned. I didn't know that was the same ones.
Yeah, same people.
Damn. Because I was a big fan of old Clippity Clop guy. That dude was fucking crazy.
so he's been in a bunch of stuff that we've done over the years. So yeah, after Game of the Year, and that had some success in festivals and everything. So that was cool. Although it's been hard to sell that motherfucker. And I thought gamers would eat it up, but it's been hard to get it out there. And it's again, it's one of my favorite movies because you don't have to be a gamer to like the movie. I mean, it helps if you are, but it's by no means necessary. So then we decided, this is now around 2010 or 11, I wanted to do a web series because I'd never done one. And it's like, man, I've done 3 features and I kind of know how that works because we tried to self-distribute Game of the Year and that was a colossal failure. I got fucking cases of that movie in my basement still. And but I was able to give you one, so there you go. but or you bought one, or I don't know.
I bought this one, and I bought at the same time when I bought Red Night at Skies from y'all's website, the 88 Films website.
Oh, okay.
That's where I bought both of these at.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Website. Yep.
That's all we have up there. But yeah, should have thrown in a Game of the Year poster because I got a shit ton of those too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I can send you one.
I'm a poster collector. Like my whole basement is horror movie posters. Ones behind me are all posters that I've gotten. Yeah, I love collecting movie posters.
As a matter of fact, here's a fun trivia fact. Derek Simmons, who played Billy and he played Mayor, he's the one who painted the poster.
Oh,
he painted the original poster for that. So he's a very good artist.
Very nice. Yeah, that's how I got when I got the Red Night at Skies, and this one when y'all mailed it to me, that's the poster behind me. It was with it, and that's what surprised me when I got the two movies in. I said, "Holy shit, I got a poster too!" And yeah, huge fan of collecting posters like that.
Yeah, we should have thrown in Game of the Year, but I don't know. You could have hated it for all I know. So it's like I don't want this. But so yeah, we're gonna do a web series, and me and two other writers came up with this 10-part zombie series. And it was because I've always liked zombie movies. I've been a big fan. And I mean, I like the original Romero Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, but man, the remake in 2004, that was the shit right there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's probably one of my favorites. Yep. But and I was a big fan of the Walking Dead comic book. I read that from almost the very beginning. I didn't like the show that much because it differed so much from the comics. But yeah, so we thought, okay, we'll do the zombie series. And it's going to be a 10-part web series. And I had at the time this really talented hotshot cinematographer attached to shoot it. And this gal that she knew, she's the one who brought him on board. She was going to edit it. And they both wanted to make a feature because he had never shot a feature film before, and he's around my age, maybe a couple years older, and she had never edited a feature film. So that's what they wanted to do. So they're like, why don't we redo this into a feature? And I was like, oh shit, all right, I guess. Well, give me 6 more months to rewrite everything. So I rewrote that into a feature, and that was Sound of Nothing, which might still be available on Amazon illegally. We just had to contact a distributor about that. Like, why is that still out there? Because the contract expired. But you might be able to find that if you can, watch that. We won't get anything, I don't think, but it's out there.
I'm curious now. I'm gonna pull up Amazon right now.
Yeah, see if it's up there.
Yeah, because that's how I got Red Night at Skies at first. As soon as I seen Jackie, she posted on Facebook that it was out to get on Amazon. And with Amazon, when it comes to them movies, I buy it other than rent it because it's like $3 more. I can watch it whenever I want, kind of thing. And so yeah, Red Night at Skies, the first time I watched it was from my Amazon purchase. Is the first time I got it.
Okay.
So I have it digitally and physical media, which is the fucking best.
But that comes with the making of and a couple of bonuses on the Blu-ray anyways.
Yep, and that's the one of my favorite things when I watch it. When I get a Blu-ray in and I watch the movie, it's like getting them the extras.
Yeah.
I love that stuff because a lot of times that makes me appreciate the movie more. There's been a couple movies I watched that I fucking took dumps on as I'm watching. And then I get to the special features.
Yeah.
And I see kind of what went into it, what the some of the struggle, some of the behind the scenes shit. And then I kind of get that little soft, like, bless his heart, like shit. Now it makes me think different of it. And there's been a couple movies I've watched because of the special features. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to kill it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's indie, then there's some struggle involved. If it's like true low budget indie, not like studio indie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So shit. It is still on Amazon. You can rent it or buy it. Still on Amazon.
course it is. We just talked to the distributor about it. Oh, we'll take care of that. Yeah, okay.
I'm buying it right now just so before it gets pulled down.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, maybe they'll break us off, a third of a cent. But yeah, so Sound of Nothing. I won't spoil it for you, but it's I like to call it a post-apocalyptic father-daughter western.
Okay.
Because I really want to make a western, but man, fuck, after making a war movie, that seems way harder.
I bet I love westerns. I like western
so do
movies,
I.
old school. I love them, and it would be. I would think that would be super. Hell, you have fucking tanks and jeeps, so I feel sure you could round up some horses somewhere.
Maybe. But Sound of Nothing has very much kind of a western vibe to it, but it's a straight up zombie movie, and they're slow zombies. They're not fast movers.
The good ones.
The good ones. And it's a good movie. I think it's got some heart. It's got some scares in it. It ticks all the boxes, but it's not a fast moving film. It's definitely kind of a slow burn, and it was made that way on purpose.
Awesome.
But there's some familiar faces in it, of course.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it now. It's going to be watched tomorrow, and I'll be doing
cool.
the face looking like, okay, who's that? I recognize that person.
Yeah, you'll definitely recognize some people in it. You gotta look for Mackie, but he's in there.
I'll definitely be looking because I was looking for that one earlier. Earlier today, I was on y'all's website and I was looking at some of the movies, and I was trying to find Sound of Nothing, like the physical is what I was trying to find. I went to like eBay and shit, and
there's there was never a physical release for that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's something we talked about and might at some point, but again, it's like a couple $1,000s to do it, and then I'm sitting on, 500 or whatever. I mean, you get for 100 Blu-rays or DVDs is maybe $2,000, somewhere around there, I think. So, we'd sell like 8 and then I'd have 92 left.
Yeah.
That's the harsh reality. But yeah, so after Sound of Nothing, we wrapped that up like 2012. We shot it in 2011, 2012, and I think it released in 2016. But we decided finally I'm going to make the web series. So, and that's still out there, still available, and that turned out pretty good. It's called The Killer's Resolute. And you can find that. It's on YouTube. There's like 9 episodes, and that's like kind of a 70s throwback exploitation. And it's real short. Like each episode is like 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
And they don't take place in order. So you kind of start like, what the fuck's going on? And then it kind of slowly reveals stuff and then reveals more. And you get background for some characters, and there's lots of killing, lots of blood, and some pretty cool stuff. I'm real happy with how that turned out. Okay.
Well, let's definitely be checking that out too.
And we never did anything beyond that with it. Like there was some talk about, man, we could turn this into a feature maybe, and that's still a possibility. I mean, if we reshot the whole thing. But yeah, that turned out real cool. And there's this local rock band I like a whole lot called the Spark Thugs. And I'm not sure what kind of music you're into, but they're like a lot like this band Clutch. If you heard of them,
I've heard of that name before.
That's like just a good hard rock band. And these guys are that. So we use their music a lot in The Killer's Resolute, and then some other stuff later on. But yeah, I'm real happy with how that turned out. Awesome. But again, what do you do with the web series? Didn't really know how to market it or do anything else with it, but it's pretty cool for what it is.
And those, when a web series, that's just something that you kind of release, like if it was either a weekly thing or you just like drop a new episode.
Yeah, we did that for like a new episode for like 9 weeks.
Oh, okay.
This was again back like 2014, something like that. So they've been out for a while, but I mean, I think they turned out pretty cool.
I've got the. What was that name again?
The Killer's Resolute.
Killer Resolute. Okay, I'm gonna look for that once I'm done.
And I think if you go to 88 millimeter, there's a page that links to it too.
Oh, okay.
So you
Yeah,
can
I
find
had
it there too.
Okay, yeah, because I had the page pulled up. I just wasn't really looking through it.
Yep. So it's on there somewhere. But yeah, it starts with like episode 7 and then jumps back to like episode 2 or 3 and eventually it kind of all goes where it makes sense. But anyway, that was pretty cool. So then after that, since I was friends with all these reenactor guys on Facebook, this is probably now 2013, 2014. So right after the Killer's Resolute, TKR is what we call it. Right after that wrapped up, I kept hearing these dudes talking about Weldon Krieg on Facebook. It's like Weldon Krieg's coming back and Weldon Krieg this and Weldon Krieg that. So finally I hit him up. I'm like, what the hell is Weldon Krieg? And I said, oh, that's where World War II reenacting first started in 1975. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, in Weldon Spring, Missouri, that's the first time it was ever an organized reenactment. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, there was only Civil War reenacting before that. So this was the first World War II reenactment. I was like, oh, okay. And it was like a huge deal from like 1975 to like 1990 that they had at this site in Weldon Spring, Missouri, where like back in the 50s and 60s, they used to make uranium cake. Like, whatever for the nuclear program. So there was like all these factories and warehouses and shit that would like abandon and decaying out there. That these guys, it was on a military base. So these guys used to reenact out there. And they had like straight up, they did like a public portion, like they did a battle for the public, but then they did the private tactical battles. So you got like a few hundred reenactors with like, vehicles and all this stuff, like doing these tactical exercises. So in 2014, they were bringing it back for the first time in, 25, 30 years or whatever. So I was like, oh, well, somebody should make a documentary about that. Oh, I should make a documentary about that. So I made a documentary about that, of this whole event that they put on. It's like a 3-day deal, and like the run up to it and the event itself and the aftermath. And it was me, and I had like a crew of like 5 people. Stanzi was one of the camera guys, and another friend of mine, and another guy that had worked with some other stuff of mine on. There's like 5 of us out there, and we were embedded with the troops. Like me and another guy went in with the German reenactors, and then Stanzi and the other 2 guys went in with the American reenactors, and we basically filmed it for the whole 3 days we were out there. Nice. And that documentary is called Weldon Krieg, and that's a straight up hour-and-a-half long documentary about World War II reenacting, which kind of goes through the whole history of that whole site and everything, and like the big battles that they did for this reenactment in 2014. And we're talking like 500-600 people, and then they have tanks and jeeps and all the same shit we had in Rhineland, except they had more of it.
Yeah.
And that was a real cool experience.
Oh, I bet so. That'd be cool. Is there somewhere to watch that?
I can send you a link because we never released that.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah, I'd like to watch that.
Yeah, that turned out pretty good too.
I like a good documentary.
Yeah, and the problem, because I'd never made a documentary before. That was my first one, and so it was kind of like Rhineland because it was a big World War II thing. But on the one hand, I had no control over anything. I'm just there to point the camera, so I'm like, well, fuck, this is a lot easier.
Yeah,
there's no stress. Like if something doesn't work, it ain't my fault. I can't control it. So I was just kind of like a, combat photographer for a big portion of it. But the problem with that then is you don't know what you're going to get.
Mm.
So I think it's a good documentary, and reenactors who have seen it, they think it's a good documentary, but there's no real drama, right? There's no villain, there's no big crazy thing that happened. It's just a documentary about this event and these people, but there unless I manufactured a villain
Mm.
and I wasn't willing to do that to screw those guys over because they were so welcoming to me, you know, I think that hurts it. But you know, you can judge for yourself.
Oh yeah.
So so yeah, then after that, so now we're talking 2015, 2016. We I didn't really have anything that I was really particularly working on, and I had this idea about taking amphetamine, my first feature, and then making a documentary about this failed filmmaker who has to get his old crew back together to finish his first movie that he never finished.
Mm.
So I was thinking about doing that. But then this other local director, his name's Wolfgang Lomkuhl, he said, "Hey, I'm making this movie that stars Steve Heffernan, and Heffernan had acted in all my early stuff. So he's like, and I want to use footage from amphetamine, like showing like him when he was younger and you know still had shit going on. Like, do you mind if I do that?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't care, man. You know, use it with my blessing."
Yeah.
So then the idea that I had, like, well, I guess I'm not going to do that. Wolfgang's going to make his movie. Well, it just so happened that Steve passed away shortly thereafter, and he was a young dude. He was 42.
Oh wow.
And the most fucked up thing about that is I was I went home to eat my lunch that day from work, and I went to the gas station and I'm going back to work, and I see Steve come out of the gas station. And I was going to say, "Hey, what's up, man?" But I thought, no, if I go and I talk to Steve, we're going to start bullshitting and I'll be late for work.
Mm.
So he didn't see me. I saw him. So I'm like, fuck it. So I just went back to work. Later on that night, another buddy of mine calls me and said, "Hey, did you hear about Hef?" I'm like, "What about him?" "He died."
Oh wow.
What? "He had a heart attack today." Like, "Are you fucking serious?" He's like, "Oh yeah, man." And I couldn't believe it because I just saw him earlier that day.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just man, it blew me away. It really messed me up because he was such a good dude. He was a good actor, he's a good friend, and he was one of those people that was always up for anything.
Yeah.
Like you could say, "Hey Steve, we're gonna cover you in pig shit and we're gonna put you in a freezing cold uh you know icy water for 5 hours. You want to do that? Okay, man, let's do it." That's the kind of dude he was. So I decided, all right, I'm going to go back and do my original idea because obviously Wolfgang can't make his idea, but I'm going to make it as a tribute to Heffernan. It's going to be his final film. So that is our film. It's called 35 Days, a Post-Production Odyssey.
Okay.
And that's another mockumentary, kind of like Game of the Year, but it tells the story of a failed filmmaker who's got to go back after 10 years, got to reunite his old crew to finish the film that he abandoned, which derailed his career from 10 years ago. And he does this because his friend, the actor in the film, passed away. So it's my favorite film. I mean, it's funny, it's sad, it's very realistic to independent filmmaking. Uh, and it's a tribute to Heffernan, and it's also unreleased.
Dang it. That was my next question. That was gonna be my next question.
Like so much of our other shit. But we didn't release either of those on purpose, either Weldon Creek or 35 Days, just because of our horrible experiences with distributors.
Gotcha.
But we were preparing to release it on put it on Film Hub when Film Hub apparently shit the bed and changed how they do everything now. So I don't know what we're going to do exactly.
Mm.
But yeah, man, it's Steve's last role, so we incorporate footage from Amphetamine into this, and that stands in for the movie they're making in the film. And I mean, it's man, if you've ever worked on an independent film, it just hits all the notes.
Nice.
It's just yeah, I just love that movie so much. I really do. That I would say that's my best work.
I'm looking forward to watching that one.
Yeah, I'll have to get that to you because man, that's my favorite film. You know, it's kind of has a kindred spirit with Game of the Year, and there's of course some of the same people. Like the main character in 35 Days was Travis Estes, so he played the lieutenant in Rhineland, and he played Gary in Game of the Year, and of course Travis was the co-lead with Steve in Amphetamine.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, but he's playing the director. He's essentially playing me
Yeah,
in the film because man, I mean, it's got I think just some laugh out loud, tears in your eyes, funny moments in 35 Days. I think it really does, and some really really sad shit too.
yeah.
So yeah, that film actually got out, went to a bunch of festivals, won a bunch of awards, and
Nice.
did pretty good. Although again, we didn't release it because I'm like, how the fuck are we gonna make any money from this thing? You know, I don't know. What distributor's probably not even gonna take it because it's got no names in it. So we're just gonna sit on it until something else happens.
So I guess a question I got is man, it's got to be it's got to be just a love of making fucking movies because there's a lot of movies that sounds like that people go into where it's like you make the movie and there just could be absolutely nothing to show for it. It it
That
could
is
it could easily be that way, and it's just like, it takes love because at some point, I feel sure that like earlier you talked about for every 100 people that makes a movie, only one finishes it because man, it would be discouraging. It's got to be where it's like you just feel like what the fuck am I? Why am I doing this?
oh man, I've said that many times because I felt like I have come close to that next level on a number of occasions, but I never quite reached that brass ring. Like on Rhineland, we got you should if you don't know his name, you should look him up. George Hickenlooper came on board as executive producer. And Hickenlooper, he was a moderately successful Hollywood director. He's made some pretty decent films, and he's originally from St. Louis, and he got involved with the film. And he came on board and he worked with me. He's the reason we shot for the third year. He's like, Chris, you need to go back out. You gotta reshoot the opening. You gotta reshoot this. You gotta redo that. I was like, okay, George. And he was like, kid, I'm gonna make you my understudy. We're gonna get into Sundance. I know we can get in the back door, and I'm gonna introduce you to Tarantino. And I was like, this is it, man.
Yeah.
This is back like 2007, 2008. I'm like, oh, this is what happens. After all these years of hard work and toil, I've made my connection, and I'm moving up to the next level. And he's like, kid, I think you got something, and I'm gonna, I'm not just being altruistic, kid. I think you can help me too. And it's like, oh, great, George. Anyway, he ended up fucking dying. Hickenlooper did. Yeah. And and nothing came to pass. So it's like, man, so close.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously shit turned out worse for him than it did for me, but yeah, it was very frustrating. Then Rhineland got rejected everywhere, and we didn't get into Sundance, and gotten a shitty, terrible distribution deal, and so on and so forth. So,
but you keep on grinding.
Keep on grinding. So years after that, so now it's like 2017. We got all this shit behind us, and I decided, all right, man, I want to make that boxing film. I want to make that straight up fighting film. So I wrote this screenplay for this film called Cruiser. So it's about cruiserweight fighter, and it's going to star Brock Roberts and Brock trained for like 2 years to be a boxer and got in really good shape. And we put together like $15,000 and shot this investor teaser. And the teaser looks badass.
Mhm.
And it's about this illegal fighting ring that his character gets caught up in because he needs money. He's going to lose his kid because his ex-wife, they're going to move to California. So he needs to get money. He needs to get money fast. And these people approach him. Like, this is after he loses his last bout, loses his license. So he's all down on his luck. And like, hey, you want to make some money? He's like, well, yeah. Well, we got a way. I mean, it's not legal, but you can make some good money doing this. So he gets involved in this and he wins his first fight. And it turns out that it's a trap. So if you lose the fight, then they kill you. So as long as you keep winning, they keep you alive. So he's basically got to fight for his life. So it's an underground fighting film. So it's going to be like super violent and super bloody.
Nice.
And like we had, like I went through, I don't know, like 25, 30 drafts of the script. I mean, it's a pretty solid screenplay, and we're trying to raise a decent amount of money. Like for us anyways, it's still low budget. We're talking like $350,000. But for us, that's a big budget, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have, we were looking for name actors to put into it. We shot this investor teaser, spent $15,000 for like this 5-minute thing, which looks pretty fucking good. And the script, I mean, it has car crashes and shootouts and all this fighting and, all this blood and violence and all this shit. So we were working on that. And that's where we brought Mackie into the company to help us pitch it. So we're doing all these pitches with people with money, and we're putting together a pretty decent amount of money. And everything is like slowly going forward. And we're raising money, and everything is like, all right, this is it. This is the big one. This is going to be our breakthrough. And we're going to, we're looking at various names to put into the role of the villain. And everything was going great. And what do you think happened?
Fucking COVID.
Fucking COVID. That came and fucked everything up, shut down everything. Investors pulled out, took their money back, and everything fucking collapsed. And man, it was like, fuck, can't catch a break to save my life. So everything was dead in the water with Cruiser. And Brock was also bummed out because he had legit trained to be a fighter for 2 years.
Dang.
And he was in, the best shape of his life. And this was his first real starring role film. I mean, he had acted in something I did not direct. He was the lead, but it was kind of this sort of Hallmark love story. Wasn't that great. So this was like a straight up action, as much action as you could cram into a movie kind of film. And everything fell apart because of COVID. So he was, super bummed out. So I sat down and I thought, man, all right, well, I got to pivot. I'm going to come up with a smaller idea, an easier to do idea, a cheaper idea. And that's when I started writing Red Night at Skye's. And right about that time, I had heard about and watched Blue Ruin and Green Room. And man, those movies blew me the fuck away.
Same.
And because Blue Ruin was made with like nothing. I was like, shit, if I was as good as that guy, Jeremy Saltier, whatever the director, I can't pronounce his name.
I can't either.
It's a legit good movie.
Yep.
And the villain, the blonde chick at the end was Jan Brady, Eve Plum.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and she killed it. And then Green Room was just, a couple notches. They just ratcheted it up from Blue Ruin. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to have enough money to do that exactly, but Red Night at Skye's was kind of inspired by those films.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, I wrote the script and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to write it, and I don't give a shit if we have what we need to make it happen. I'm just going to write it and we're going to make it happen. So I wrote this whole thing with the pawn shop, with the trap door and the lab in the basement, all this shit, and the cannibals and everything. So it's like, I don't know where the hell we're going to find a location that's going to work for this pawn shop with a trap door, right? We're going to have to build that, and I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I know in Evil Dead, like when they built the basement, there wasn't really a basement.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know, 4 feet deep or some shit like that. So I'm like, well, I guess we can fake that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, so it turns out that Brock, I guess now his brother-in-law, had his own body shop, and he's like, well, I got a trap door in my back room. I'm like, what?
Oh,
Oh
shit.
yeah, you can use that. Like, holy shit. So yeah, there was like probably 2,000 pounds of uh transmissions and engine blocks and shit on top of it that we had to move out of the way, which we did. But there's a trap door, and we like built all the walls. If you watched the making of, you saw a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we built Skye's pawn shop out of that his body shop in one of his bays. Yeah, so I mean it all worked out great, but yeah, we were going to shoot that, I think, in either late 2020, early 2021, but we had to shut that down because of COVID. We had to push it off for a year because COVID killed that. Because we were like ready to go, and like, nope, because all the SAG rules were in place, and it like just the cost was just adding up. It's like, this is cost with no value.
Mm-hmm.
We got to pay for this, we got to pay for that. It's like we can't afford any of that, and the budget was just going up and up and up. And it's not like we're adding production value for this money. We're just adding costs to cover the COVID stuff. And plus, we didn't want to put anybody at risk. And so it's like, all right, fuck it, we'll wait a year. And we waited a year, and I think somewhere within that year, that's when we got Mosley. Because we had talked to different people. Like at first, I think we were trying to get David Naughton, and he was the main guy in American Werewolf in London.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked to the Jigsaw guy, who I think he really liked the film, but I don't think we could meet his rate because it was, pretty steep. And we talked to a few other people. We might have talked to Griffin Dunn. I don't remember. He was the other guy in American Werewolf. Well, we talked to a few people, and people were interested. But then a guy. Well, we were working with a casting agent in town, and I mean, in this city in St. Louis, I've been doing film for a minute. I've been doing it for a while, and so when we went and talked with her, you could tell she wanted nothing to do with us, nothing to do with this idea. And she was talking to us like we were like, film students, fresh out of film school. And I was like, I've been doing this for like 20 years, right? This ain't my first rodeo. And she was just very dismissive of us. And she was like, well, it'll be like $2,500 to approach 3 people. And I won't make any guarantees. You have to pay me up front. And if that doesn't work, then you can pay an additional $500 per name that I approach that you give me. So it's like, so we're gonna pay you this money to approach people that we pick out, and there's no guarantee. And what? So we're gonna pay you $3,000 to write some emails or to make a couple phone calls. Oh yeah, they said no. Well, I tried. Here's my fee. So we're like, yeah, hell with that.
Yeah.
So there was this guy named Mikey Catalinato, and he was just the sweetest dude you ever want to meet. And he was working on some movie called Scabba-Claus. It was like a movie about a fake Santa Claus killer movie. It was a documentary about this fake movie. And that wasn't coming together as much as he would like. So he was like, well, hey, I can help you find somebody. I'm like, okay, dude, sure. And so he was a bulldog, man. And he found us all the names, and he got us in touch with Mosley's agent. And we got everything set up, and we negotiated a rate, and we brought him in to play originally he's going to play the villain, but because it was still made under COVID restrictions. So we had that to deal with. And that was like 4 days. So like, man, we can't afford all the shit for 4 days. So I rewrote the script to have Cole's father. And that's where Bill came in. So like, man, we can make this reasonably work in 1 day.
Yeah.
And, we brought Bill into town, and, we had dinner with him the night before, and, we had to have a trailer and all this stuff, but he was such an awesome dude.
He seems like he would be. He seems like he'd just be.
He was cool as shit, just a great guy. You know, we had dinner with him. He's just telling us stories and just a sweet guy. And who am I? I'm just some asshole from Missouri. And you know, Bill was very respectful, and you know, I'm directing, and he's taking my direction, and he's not like, well, I'm Bill Moseley. I've been Chop Top. I've been in Three from Hell. He was just like, I'm the actor, the director. Let's, you know, whatever you want, boss. And that was just awesome. You know, just such a awesome dude. Such a great experience. And he's got his band called the Corn Bugs. So when after we wrap for the day and Mackie's taking him back to the hotel, he's like, hey man, you want to hear some music I made? Mackie's like, okay. So he's playing this, you know, like loud ass rock, and he's like singing, and you know, it's just a cool dude.
It is. It's cool because it's like you can hear him saying, just kind of like the way you said it. I can hear it in his voice, the way he talks.
Yeah.
He seems like he'd just be a cool ass guy just to hang out with.
Yeah, he absolutely was. Absolutely. So yeah, then so that was Red Night at Skye's. And so what, we shot that in 2021 and we released it in 23. Well, I guess it came out through, we premiered it in 23, then we did a whole festival run, and that did pretty well. Won some decent awards, won like Chicago Horror Film Festival, like best horror film.
Yep.
And that was cool. That was a great experience. And then, so up until this point, you know, I've done all across the board as far as genre goes, right?
Yep.
It's like I made horror films, I made comedies, I made a war film, made documentary, and I'm here to tell you that was all a huge mistake. Because I'm like, I'm over here, I'm over there, I'm over there, because I didn't know jack shit about what you're supposed to do. And the smart move is you find a genre, and if you're good at that, you stick with that. So if I had to go back and do it all over again, I just would have started with the horror genre and just stuck with that.
I feel like the horror folks they're more ride or die. They're ride or die with you more than I feel like other movies are. Because
yes, absolutely.
With horror movies, you just get that them followings, man, where they just know they're gonna watch your shit. You know, they just want to see it. Like, holy shit! Like Chris made a new movie, I got to go watch it. You know, that's just the way horror folks are. You know,
yeah, exactly. Because there ain't no big World War II movie community.
No, it's not.
I wish there was, but you know, I wasn't thinking on along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so after Red Night at Skye's, you know, I'm sitting on, because we're still sitting on the cruiser script. I don't know what the hell we're ever going to do with that, because it still needs that kind of money. But I've got three scripts right now that I'm sitting on that are all in the horror genre.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've got one, this vampire idea, which is a kind of a different, I mean, it's very traditional vampires, but there's a twist to it, a different take on it that I like. And I've got this other, it's not a werewolf, it's like this demonic wolf thing that I'm sitting on. And then I wanted to make another movie, because another thing I really love is film noir.
Mm-hmm.
So I love pulp noir, like Philip Marlowe, you know, Raymond Chandler stories, you know, Sam Spade, all that stuff, Maltese Falcon. So I wrote this script called Hard Times in Murder City. And it's a straight up film noir. It's black and white, but it's set today, but it kind of like the movie Brick. Did you ever see that? It's like Ryan Johnson's, one of his first films, maybe his first film.
I don't think I have.
So it was about this sort of high school murder mystery. It's a pretty good movie, but they speak in like 1940s hard-boiled dialogue. It was like from like 2004, 2005, something like that. So that's what this Hard Times in Murder City idea is. It's set today, but they speak like the 40s, But what I wanted to do, and I still want to do, is like, man, can I make a movie with the mummy and make it scary? So,
I haven't come across one yet.
so that was the idea, because I saw this movie, and I'm sure you've seen this one. It's a couple of years old, called It Follows,
Yes.
which is a great film, but it reminded me of this story that I read when I was a kid, and I couldn't tell you the name of the story or anything, but it was about a mummy, and it was the main character in the story was blind, and he like worked in a hotel. He was like a blind bellhop in a hotel, and this guy booked a room, but he always had to book a room with two exits.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason was he was like a archaeologist or something, and there was a curse from this mummy. He was being followed by this mummy, so he always had to be ready to leave
Okay.
from this other room. And so I remember that thought of being stalked by something that's just moving at a walking pace. It's very slow and inevitable, and that's very frightening. You know,
Yeah.
it's
There was a movie that me and my brother covered on our show, and I can't remember the name of it because we talked a lot of shit about it. But there's a part in this movie where this guy, he's taking these people, it's probably like this cult type thing, but he's taking the people and he's basically doing the whole little ice pick up the nose and just making them fucking, zombies basically. And he's wrapping them up to be like mummies. He's got them wrapped up in these mummy
okay.
linens. And there's a part toward the end where they all shit starts going down, and they're doing exactly what you were just talking about. They kind of got that little slow look, but then where they fucked it up is they were all in perfectly white linens, like white. I'm talking clean, like snow white, and I'm just like, it doesn't. It didn't give me that mummy. I think mummy. I'm thinking a little kind of like raggedy, kind of like but no, they're just kind of And then it was like they didn't have enough. They ran out of white toilet paper and it's like they wrapped their head and then like a little bit around their arm and around this arm and some around their leg, and it was like they were supposed to be like these mummies, but it was like you couldn't have went and bought an extra thing of Charmin and wrapped that shit all the way up.
No, we were going for legit like Boris Karloff
Yeah.
kind of feel, and the effects guy who's working on our next film with us. Uh, I mean, the sketches he made, like this thing's just creepy as hell, and it's all sort of tied to this little cursed idol. And I mean, I love this script, and that is the movie I want to make. And we were actually in early pre-production, and again, it's low budget, but it was like $150,000, and we were starting that process. Then we're like, man, what are we doing? Because the hardest thing in the world is to, like, everybody wants to make movies, right? Everyone they do the Kickstarter, they want to raise the money, they want to make the movie, they get the investors. That's what everybody wants to do, because everyone loves making movies, and it's fun making movies, it's exciting making movies, and it's a great time, and you have these great ideas. But you know what the hard part is? Selling the damn things.
Mm.
That is the $64,000 question right there. It's like, how do you make any of that money back? And some people say, well, it's just art and you got to do, yeah, sure. Yeah, you do it for the art, but at some point, you're going to go broke. And it's like, you can't make, you can't continually make movies and not see anything come back into the coffer. It's very difficult to do. So we stopped the process for Hard Times in Murder City and pivoted to something else, which the only thing, that's what we're working on now. We're actually going to go into production in February.
Okay.
So the only thing I will say about that, we're keeping almost everything under wraps, is it's a true crime about a Missouri serial killer.
Nice.
And it's a wild idea. That's all I will say. Like we have the rights to things that some people don't, a lot of people don't know about. It's like a legit true crime story, and it's yeah, I can't say anything more, but that's, I'm not even going to say the name, but that's the thing that we have secured rights to that we're making
Nice.
instead of Hard Times in Murder City.
You're a busy man.
Yeah, and then I have this shitbag podcast that we do.
Hey, keep turning out that podcast, man. I enjoy that one. I still got to watch the latest episode. I hadn't had a chance to watch that one yet.
Oh, so you're all the way caught up then?
Oh yeah. I started at 1. Whenever I go to the gym every morning, and I always do like between 30 and 45 minutes of like the bike or cardio, and that's what I watch. I was watching y'all's show, and that's what I would just prop my phone up on the YouTube, and I started at episode 1, and I just choked
Okay.
through them. And also, yeah, I caught up probably about a couple weeks ago. I finally got caught up with everything. A couple of them I've watched a couple times already, like the interview with like Stanzi, and a lot of the interviews I've watched a couple times. Because I like hearing the stories, man.
Yeah.
It's so cool to me to hear the stories of you know everybody's got the same kind of struggle, kind of, a lot of the same stuff that you have issues with. This other person, like who's the one of the more recent one, James Dean.
James Dean,
Yeah,
yeah.
James Dean. Another one. I just talked about his movie a couple weeks ago, the Triple Xmas.
Yeah.
I did his right before Christmas time, and I got that one did very well. There's everybody out there likes shit like that, man. And
Yeah.
I always do. I enjoy doing like the independent movies on the show. I get hit up a lot of times. Like people are like, "Why don't you do this movie or this movie that just came out? Why don't you watch?" Because I'm just like, it's 50 something $1 million. It ought to be a fucking good movie.
Yeah.
Shit. Let me see somebody take $100,000 and let me see what they do. That to me is more entertaining to me, to see what somebody can do with just being creative and being, I like that.
Absolutely.
I love that type of shit in, movies, because I've watched movies where people, they'll give you like an off-screen kill or off-screen something like that. And I hate that. I hate it when you give me an off-screen, I don't care how cheap it may look. If you just, somebody that gives me an effort, like I watched a movie the other day where they simulated cutting this dude's dick off. And they could have gave me an off-screen, like imaginary in my brain. I know his dick just got cut off, but no, they went through and they gave me a pretty good close-up of it.
Was that Pater Noster? Pater Noster and the Mission of Light?
No.
No, because I think
a movie
they cut off a dick in that too.
Oh, the one I did a show, my last show is called Maria. Yeah, somebody reached out to me through Instagram and wanted me to watch it. But and there's a part in it. It's independent. You tell it's low budget, but they simulate this dude gets his dick chopped off by a cyborg chick who had saw blades in her vagina. Like chops his dick off, and it gave me the close up of it. And I don't care if somebody can look at it like that don't even look real. I'm cool with that, because somebody put the effort into it. Somebody sit there long enough and thought, man, what could I do? I just don't want to imaginary chop his dick off. I want them to kind of see something. Like, what can I do to make that happen? I appreciate people that put that kind of effort into something. And $100 million movie, they don't have to put no effort into it, because they'll fucking get a stupid little computer or whatever to just do it for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like watching big movies too. I enjoy that. But, as far as like our own podcast, like we don't review films like that. It's got to be independent, and it's got to be non-studio, low budget, because you can do a lot with very little. Now, some people, they can't do nothing with very little.
This is, yes.
I mean, that's just how it is. But, I want to help out people who are in my same boat, because I'm in the boat right with you. I'm pulling the oar. I'm on the other oar, pulling just like you are, man, because it's a grind and it's hard, but it's like the Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love. That's what they used to say.
Yep. I remember that.
And that's what indie film is. It's you got to do it because you don't have a choice.
Yep. And I know I've kept you on here a lot longer than probably what you wanted to, but we're gonna wrap this thing up. Before I do, I want to touch on the podcast that y'all do, and like you said, I do some of the movies that I've watched that I've heard by listening to you guys. Even not just the ones y'all review, but some of the ones y'all just mentioned and talk about randomly. I'll write them down and I've watched them, and that's where I came across Blue Ruin and stuff like that from listening to y'all talk about it. And I do like the movie reviews because I do like the fact that y'all are just getting those like the independents. But what I like is I get on a show and I talk about on my show, and I talk just like how I am when I watch a movie. I'm not a deep person. I don't get all into weeds. That's not how I am. I just like to watch it, talk some shit, have a good time with it. But I like it with you guys because y'all can talk about it because y'all know what they're doing. You like behind the scenes, like you kind of know what's going on. When you see the movie, you recognize like this, maybe how this camera thing's done or how this is done and stuff like that, you know? And so I like hearing y'all do y'all's reviews on it because it makes me look at things different. Like when I watch movies now, because I listen to how do y'all kind of like look at when y'all review it, some of the things y'all look for. And so sometimes I'll watch it and I'll be trying to look, you know, and sometimes I don't see shit. I don't understand, you know.
Oh, sure.
But I'm just like, but yeah, big fan of the show. And like I said, if y'all haven't listened to it, if y'all are fans of independent horror, I mean, not independent horror, but independent overall, y'all give that behind it. For me, it was a behind the curtain type thing. Like that's one of the things I just kind of amazed at, like what all goes on and what goes into it. And so I appreciate the hell out of it, the show and what y'all do. And,
thank you.
Yeah. And I appreciate the hell out of you coming on our little shit show here and giving us some time out of your busy schedule and letting us talk about what you do in your movies. And, looking forward to whatever's coming next, brother. Looking forward to it. And
appreciate that.
Yep. And hey, family, go show some love, show some support. Like I said, go to the website 88 Films. 88 millimeter
films.
88millimeterfilms.com. You can buy, like I said, they got a store. You can get these two right here, Red Night at Skies and Game of the Year.
Yep.
Both of them. Very fun movies. Game of the Year, fucking funny as hell. Love it. Clip clop. I'm gonna make a hoodie. Because I like making hoodies, and I'm gonna get me a hoodie that's all I was gonna say. If you're cool with it, I want one that's gonna say there's a bear shit in the woods. Clip clop.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah.
Actually, we used to have clip clop. I think we still have one somewhere, clip clop shirt.
That was such a cool line, man. That's t-shirt material right there. I fucking like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate, like I said, what you do, and keep doing what you're doing, man. Over 25, 27 years almost, you said?
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean, maybe eventually I'll hit that overnight success.
Hey, I hope so. And when you do, don't forget about us little people, still come back here and hang out with us a little bit,
Oh, don't worry, man. We got a new episode coming out tomorrow. We got a new member on the show.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Brittany O'Connell. So
nice.
We got a new set, actually. Well, it's same set. But we got a new table anyway. So looks a little more legit.
Hey, moving on up. Moving on up. Hey, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And I can't wait to watch it. But hell yeah, man. Thank you again for coming on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
If you're I'll put links in the podcast descriptions for the 88 films and stuff like that. The Instagram for your 88 millimeter and stuff like that. But yep. I think that's gonna wrap it up, man. Anything you want to talk? Anything you good? Anything you want to push or?
Oh man, I think we said it all.
Hell yeah. And I appreciate you. And once again, man, taking time out of your schedule and doing this. I really do. We love independence, and I love getting to hear about it and get on here and talk to the ones that do what you do, you know. But thank you again, man. And looking forward to the new episode. Well, whoever's listening to this, if you're listening to this is Friday. So the new episodes of the Independent Film Sucks podcast. No,
Tuesday the 12th will be coming out.
Yep. So this show
already
here
out then.
Yeah, but whenever y'all listen to this, it's going to be out, so you'll be able to listen to it.
Yep.
But hey, thank you again, Chris. And we've reached that time of the episode, family. Where I need y'all to reach over. I need y'all to grab y'all's drinks. I need you to gather up all y'all shit. Go put y'all's chairs away, and y'all get the fuck out of here.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
That man's got Mars.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick.
I ate his liver with some fava beans. Nice acclaimed.
This mess.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror.
Welcome to the debauchery.